you very much, Jason. Jason and Pedro walked us through a number of significant operational improvements. How do these improvements translate into additional cash flow? At Portugal Telecom, we see on our experience that there are three main areas on which we are seeing the technology driving our profitability. Operational efficiency, the cost of owning IT and networks. And alongside these two, what we see is that FTTH and 4G LTE clearly help us, and the IT network transformation also plays a role. But we will also go through customer lifetime value and what is the impact that fiber will have on customer lifetime value. Customer care costs per revenue generating unit are coming down 20%. You've got two drivers here. The first driver is volumes. The second driver is unitary costs. Clearly here, what we see is that FTTH and 4G LTE networks are more stable and more reliable. And we also have simpler activation processes when the customer is installed. Both of these mean less calls to the call center. In terms of unitary costs, the IT investment that Pedro Sardo walked us through a while ago, namely in the new CRM and in the integration of the contact points of the customer with our contact center, particularly the CTI, lowered the cost per transaction. These are positive news. In terms of billing and collection cost per customer coming down by more than 1/3. Here, the new convergent CRM plays an important role. As we just said earlier, the new CRM allows us to have a unique vision of the customer. And because we can see the customer alongside or across our various companies, as it is now the case for Meo and Sapo, and it will be the case for TMN in a short while, we are able to send the customer less bills. If we reduce the bills per customer, we reduce our volumes. Sorry. Maybe we can forward slide. No. Yes. Field operation costs per revenue generating unit are coming down 20%. Again, here, volumes and unitary costs. The stability of the FTTH and of the 4G network play a role here. If we have less faults, we have less technicians on the street, and we have less track rolls, which are expensive. We also see unitary costs coming down on the back of productivity because of all the IT empowerment, because of the rejuvenating of the workforce, because of the training that our workforce has been subject to. Clearly, the number of activities that each technician performs per day is going up. In terms of the cost to install a triple play customer, a very important cost, what you see is that it's coming down 16% over the past 2 years. Here, the drivers are, on one side, the cost of the equipment inside the customer home, and on the other side, the productivity, meaning the time that we spend and the labor cost that we spend installing the customer. Let's start with equipment. Because of the RF overlay, we reduced the number of set-top boxes by 50%. That is positive. But also what happens is that we are refurbishing more set-top boxes. 90% of the set-top boxes these days are refurbished. Refurbished set-top boxes are cheaper than new set-top boxes. In terms of productivity, the RF overlay also plays a role in here because, as Jason walked us through, we can take advantage of the coaxial network inside the customer home, and our technicians have less network to install inside the customer home. Less 18 minutes to install a fiber customer vis-a-vis an ADSL customer. Lower faults, higher quality of service, it means happier customers. Happier customers will churn less. If you couple that with the fact that it costs us less to operate an FTTH customer, if you compare it with ADSL customer, it's positive for our business and for our profitability. Churn on fiber is 25% lower than churn on copper. And the value of a Meo fiber customer is almost twice as much as the value of a Meo ADSL customer. But we also see these new generation networks delivering in terms of transportation of data. Clearly, these networks are much more ready to transport data vis-à-vis their predecessors. As my CEO said in the beginning of this presentation, we see ahead a significant growth in data volumes, a data tsunami. Now, the marginal cost of adding a new gigabyte into the FTTH network is almost 9 times lower if you compare it with ADSL. In 4G, it's almost 9 times lower. So just imagine if we would not have invested in these new technologies, the problem that we would be facing. But we also see network electricity costs per customer coming down. And that not only takes good care of our profitability, but it also embeds eco-efficiency and sustainability into our business model, which is important for us. IT spending. Pedro Sardo walked us through all the transformations that we've carried out over the past 4 years. But while we have transformed our IT, we also launched a significant number of services, and we have actually improved our competitive position. But at the same time, we were able to reduce the costs of owning IT, 13%, including OPEX and CAPEX. And OPEX, clearly, the clear improvement in OPEX reflects the investments that we have been doing. You know PT. We are a cost-conscious company, and this comes down from the very top to all the organization. Not only we took measures anticipating the current context, but as I hope I have just shown to you, we believe that technology clearly supports bringing down costs. We believe that these trends will be sustainable because the number of customers that we have in each of these technologies is going to grow. And as such, we believe that our future OPEX savings will continue to be there, thus underpinning the cash flow and profitability at Portugal Telecom. I will now hand you over to Mrs. Ana Dias, head of our innovation department, who will take you over our innovation pipeline for the next years.